Our world is never short of spooky sights or frightening discoveries. We hear about them on the news or from other people every day. From a tragic plane crash to a Mormon cricket invasion, here are the 20 most terrifying things recently discovered. Number 20. Mystery of Malaysia Airlines Flight 370. In the early hours of March 8, 2014, Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 departed from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia on its way to Beijing, China. With 227 passengers and 12 crew members on board, the Boeing 777 vanished without a trace, sparking an extensive search effort spanning vast areas of the Indian Ocean and Central Asia. Prior to the plane's disappearance, the aircraft's transponder, a crucial device for air traffic control communication, was abruptly turned off. Shortly after, both Malaysian military and civilian radar systems detected the plane making an unexpected turn and deviating from its planned route. Unfortunately, radar contact was lost over the Andaman Sea, leaving investigators with a perplexing puzzle to solve. Throughout the years, several pieces of debris from the plane have been recovered and analyzed. Many theories have surfaced, ranging from a freak accident to a deliberate shoot-down and an elaborate cover-up. Still, after almost a decade since the tragedy, it's still unclear what really led to the plane's disappearance. Recently, British engineer Richard Godfrey and renowned MH370 wreckage hunter Blaine Gibson released a report after coming across a new piece of evidence. In the wake of Tropical Storm Fernando, a fisherman in Madagascar stumbled upon a damaged trunnion, or landing gear door, on the beach. He found the debris fascinating, but he didn't really know what it was. He brought it home and kept it in his yard. 5 years later, Godfrey and Gibson learned about the trunnion door and visited the fisherman. They confirmed that it was a component of the missing Boeing 777, and they conducted a meticulous analysis. Their findings strongly suggest that the landing gear was extended at the time of the crash, implying that someone was active at the controls until the very end. The damage observed on all sides of the debris and the forceful penetration through the item indicate a high-speed dive, deliberately aiming to break up the aircraft into as many pieces as possible. The combination of the deliberate high-speed impact and the extended landing gear reveals a clear intent to hide the evidence of the crash. The disappearance of Flight 370 continues to be one of the most baffling mysteries in aviation history. The search for answers is still ongoing, and perhaps one day, the truth about this terrible tragedy will be revealed. Number 19. World War II plane found at last. In a remarkable and treacherous search mission, a missing World War II plane has finally been discovered nearly 80 years after its disappearance in the remote Himalayan region of India. The ill-fated C-46 transport aircraft embarked on its final journey from Kunming in southern China in 1945. Carrying 13 individuals, the plane encountered stormy weather over the mountainous terrain of Arunachal Pradesh. Suddenly, without warning, the aircraft vanished, leaving no trace behind. The quest to uncover the truth about the missing aircraft was initiated by the son of one of the passengers. Bill Scherer, who lost his father in the crash, reached out to Clayton Colas, requesting his assistance. Determined to bring closure to the families affected by the tragedy, Colas assembled a team of guides from the local Lisu ethnic group and embarked on a months-long expedition into the unforgiving Himalayan region. After months of grueling trekking and battling the elements, the search team finally located the wreckage of the C-46 aircraft. Perched atop a snow-covered mountain, the remnants of the plane were identified through its tail number. However, there were no human remains found at the crash site, leaving the fate of the passengers and crew still shrouded in mystery. Despite this, the discovery itself brought a sense of closure to the families who had long awaited answers. Number 18. Letter written by Titanic passenger. In April of 1912, 12-year-old Mathilde Lefebvre embarked on a journey aboard the RMS Titanic with her mother and siblings, eager to reunite with their family in the United States after being apart for a year. Tragically, their reunion never came to pass. Just days after boarding the iconic ship, the Titanic met its demise, sinking into the icy depths of the Atlantic Ocean. In 2017, a New Brunswick family discovered a weathered bottle nestled in the sands near the Bay of Fundy. Inside, a letter awaited, bearing the signature of Mathilde Lefebvre. The message, written in anticipation of their imminent arrival in New York, requested that whoever found it contact the Lefebvre family in Levant. The discovery of this letter sparked a wave of curiosity and hope. but its authenticity remains in question. Researchers at the Université du Québec à Rimouski meticulously examined the materials used through carbon dating and determined that they were consistent with the era. However, after scrutinizing the handwriting and language within the letter, they noticed some inconsistencies. While the cursive script appears reminiscent of early 20th century penmanship, discrepancies arise when compared to the education and writing styles of French children at that time. This finding raises doubts about the letter's authenticity. Another aspect that adds to the mystery is the location of where the bottle was found. Experts assert that it seems improbable for a bottle thrown off a ship to wash up in New Brunswick, but it's not entirely impossible. The unpredictability of ocean currents leaves room for the unexpected. Jacques Lefebvre, the great-nephew of Mathilde Lefebvre's mother, hopes that the letter is authentic, as it represents the only tangible connection to their family's past. But he also acknowledges that the discovery is somewhat too good to be true. Despite the researchers' efforts, the truth behind the Titanic message in a bottle may never be uncovered. Number 17. Swarm of bees delays flight. In a bizarre turn of events, a commercial plane at George Bush Intercontinental Airport in Houston was delayed for approximately 3 hours due to an unexpected swarm of bees. The incident took place just as passengers were preparing to board the flight. The bees, seemingly in search of a temporary resting place, settled on one of the small, upturned tips of the plane's wings, known as the winglets. Because of this, boarding was temporarily halted, leaving passengers to watch the peculiar scene unfold from the airport windows. The airline swiftly took action to address the situation. Initially, they contacted a beekeeper in hopes of safely removing the swarm from the plane. However, it would soon be realized that the beekeeper would not be allowed to touch the aircraft. Finally, the airline made the decision to relinquish the gate to another flight. Surprisingly, as the captain turned on the engine to move the aircraft out of the way, the bees departed on their own accord. With the winglet finally free from its unexpected visitors, the plane was relocated to another gate, allowing the passengers to board and ensuring a smooth takeoff. Swarming is a natural behavior for bees, particularly during the spring. A healthy colony tends to split in half, with one group departing in search of a new home. Once in a while, the insects would pause to rest on the first solid object they encounter. In this case, the bees chose the winglet of the plane. Number 16. Cell-cultivated meat. The United States Department of Agriculture has granted approval for 2 companies to sell lab-grown chicken. Production of lab-grown or cell-cultivated meat begins with isolating tissue samples from living animals. These samples contain cells that are then carefully nurtured and multiplied in a controlled laboratory setting. Nutrients are provided to these cells, allowing them to grow and develop into the desired meat product. The result is real meat, indistinguishable from what's on the market today. With this new development, the future of meat production aims to turn toward sustainability and ethical practices, but some people are uneasy about eating something grown in such an artificial way. While the approval to sell lab-grown chicken in the United States is a significant step forward, the challenge lies in scaling up production to meet the demand. Currently, the production capacity of lab-grown meat is limited, and companies plan on selling their product to high-end restaurants first. The move towards lab-grown chicken is an exciting prospect to some who celebrate a more sustainable and ethical means of meat production. However, it's also a frightening idea for those who feel that it's too dangerous or disgusting to eat. Would you be willing to try lab-grown meat? Number 15. Potential life on Saturn's moon. Saturn's moon Enceladus has long been a subject of fascination for scientists and astronomers because of its icy surface and hidden ocean. Previous studies had identified that 5 of the 6 essential ingredients for life are present in Enceladus's ocean. Now, scientists have detected the presence of the 6th and final one, sparking interest that there may be extraterrestrial life on Saturn's moon. Life as we know it relies on 6 essential elements: carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, sulfur, and phosphorus. With all of these ingredients present on Enceladus, scientists are excited to further investigate if it's really habitable. Phosphorus plays a crucial role in life on Earth. It's one of the most abundant minerals in the human body and is essential for the formation of bones and DNA. On our planet, phosphorus is present in various minerals and is the 12th most abundant element in the Earth's crust. However, phosphorus is relatively rare in the universe, making its detection in Enceladus's ocean a significant discovery. The discovery opens up exciting possibilities for future missions and exploration to unravel the mysteries of Enceladus in the search for signs of life. Number 14. NASA's snake-like robot. Speaking of exploring Enceladus, NASA has actually designed a snake-like robot that could be used for this very mission. It measures 13 feet long and weighs 200 pounds, capable of autonomously slithering through a variety of extraterrestrial terrain. Its appearance may be a bit freaky, but it can effectively traverse sand, ice, steep cliffs, craters, underground lava tubes, and even small spaces in glaciers. Developers designed it to be an all-around robot, suitable for all types of terrain. It can even calculate risk and make decisions on its own. The snake robot's ultimate destination is Enceladus, and because of its immense distance from the Earth, control over the machine would be difficult during the mission. That's why it's crucial for scientists to create an intelligent robot that can work and survive in an alien environment on its own. Once the robot is fully developed, it can be instrumental in learning more about the moons, planets, and other bodies in outer space. Number 13. Device generates electricity from thin air. Scientists have developed a device that works like a man-made cloud, generating electricity out of thin air, like how clouds produce lightning. This remarkable feat has been achieved through a revolutionary device that harnesses the humidity present in the atmosphere. Humidity, the amount of water vapor present in the air, is an abundant resource on our planet. It's estimated that the Earth's atmosphere contains a vast reservoir of water molecules, making it an enormous source of clean energy. This revolutionary device consists of 2 electrodes and a thin layer of material. This layer is punctured with extremely tiny holes, thinner than 1,000th the width of a human hair. As water molecules pass through the device from an upper chamber to a lower chamber, they collide with the edges of the tiny holes. This collision leads to the creation of an electric charge imbalance between the 2 chambers, effectively mimicking the process by which natural clouds generate electricity. However, the device can only produce continuous electricity equivalent to a fraction of a volt. Researchers still need to find a way to scale up the device for practical applications. Number 12. Parrot hatchlings in a suitcase. At the Miami International Airport, customs officials came across a suspicious suitcase. They heard strange chirping sounds coming from inside it, and when they opened it, they were astonished to find a temperature-controlled cooler containing 29 eggs, some of which had already begun to hatch. One small pink chick had already broken free from its shell. Zhu Tawu, a traveler from Managua, Nicaragua to Taiwan, was apprehended at the Miami International Airport while attempting to smuggle a cache of parrot eggs. When questioned, Wu claimed to be unaware of the exact species of birds he was carrying. A makeshift incubator was swiftly arranged at the airport to create a suitable environment for the baby parrots. The following day, the birds and remaining eggs were transferred to the Rare Species Conservatory Foundation, where they were carefully monitored. Using DNA testing, the parrots were subsequently identified as red lord Amazons and endangered yellow-naped Amazons. These species are highly sought after as pets, making them prime targets for poachers and smugglers. Conservationists are optimistic that the surviving birds will be successfully rehabilitated, and one day, they might even be able to come back home. Number 11. Mormon cricket invasion. The quiet town of Elko in Nevada has recently been plagued by a terrifying invasion of red critters. These creatures, known as Mormon crickets, have infested the area in swarms. Highways are blanketed in a sea of red, and the insects scuttle over barriers in search of food, crackling and popping under the wheels of passing trucks. The people of Elko have resorted to desperate measures in their attempts to combat the cricket invasion. Brooms, leaf blowers, pressure washers, and even snow plows have been employed to rid the town of their relentless pests, but their efforts have proved futile. The crickets return with a vengeance. The impact of the cricket invasion extends beyond the public nuisance and foul odor. The local hospital has even hired a specialized group called the Cricket Patrol, consisting of temporary part-time employees whose sole responsibility is to clear the entrances so that patients will be able to enter the building. The Mormon cricket invasion is expected to last for approximately 2 months, after which the crickets will begin to die off. Male crickets perish after mating, while female crickets meet their demise after laying their eggs. Number 10. Orca versus boat. During a renowned endurance sailing competition called the Ocean Race, attention turned to a pod of orcas where they started displaying unusual behavior towards one of the participating boats. As Team Jajo, a crew competing in the Ocean Race, approached the Strait of Gibraltar, they encountered at least 3 orcas. The massive mammals, measuring between 16 to 21 feet and weighing over 8,000 pounds, approached their sailboat. One of the orcas nuzzled the boat's rudder, while another playfully ran its nose into the hull. The sailors, although appreciating the beauty of these creatures, were understandably concerned about the potential danger they posed. This recent encounter with orcas is not an isolated incident. Over the past 4 years, researchers studying orcas off the western coast of the Iberian Peninsula have noticed an increasing number of reports of the creatures bumping into or even damaging boats. Is this their way of declaring war against humans? Number 9. Sunken Hospital and Cemetery. While diving and conducting a survey of the Dry Tortugas National Park off the coast of Florida, park staff and researchers stumbled upon some fascinating ruins submerged beneath the waters. They then came across a very intriguing sight. Beneath the sand, there was an engraved headstone belonging to a man who died in 1861. After digging into the history of Dry Tortugas National Park, they were able to determine the background behind their discovery. In the 19th century, there was a military fortress in the park called Fort Jefferson. The place is known for holding prisoners during the Civil War. At that time, there was also a yellow fever epidemic, taking the lives of thousands of victims. Because of this, hospitals were constructed on nearby islands, and sick patients from the fort were transferred there to be treated. The ruins researchers found underwater may have been a hospital and a cemetery built for this purpose. With this discovery, it's clear that the national park still had many secrets. Researchers hope to uncover more of these soon. Number 8. Hundreds of Venus flytraps. The Venus flytrap is a carnivorous plant known for its freaky appearance and unique ability to trap and digest insects. When an insect or spider comes in contact with their trigger hairs, the lobes swiftly snap shut, ensnaring the unsuspecting prey. Native to a limited 100-mile stretch along the Carolinas coast, the population of these extraordinary perennials has declined due to illegal poaching and habitat loss. That's why when Charlie Winterbauer found himself surrounded by hundreds of Venus flytraps, he was totally in awe and felt protective of these delicate plants. At that time, he was walking through a savanna near Wilmington, North Carolina, looking for the songbird indigo bunting. But when he saw the huge group of rare Venus flytraps on the 20-acre lot, he forgot about the bird and started examining the plants. After a few years, a company purchased the land, including the lot where Winterbauer saw the Venus flytraps. To his relief, the company promised to relocate the rare plants to a safe place prior to their construction. A total of 478 Venus flytraps were relocated to a nearby area. While the general public may no longer have access to the relocated Venus flytraps, biologists have reported that these unique carnivorous plants are thriving in their new habitat. Number 7. Ancient comb made from human skull. In the ancient lands of Cambridgeshire, England, a remarkable discovery has emerged from the depths of time. Archaeologists excavating a site at Bar Hill have unearthed a mysterious artifact, a comb made from a human skull. Dating back 2,000 years to the Iron Age, this enigmatic find measures 2 inches in length and has nearly a dozen teeth. Surprisingly, these teeth show no signs of wear, suggesting that the comb was never used for its conventional purpose of styling and detangling hair. Instead, the presence of a drilled circle at the top of the comb suggests that it may have been used as an amulet. The comb may have been worn around its owner's neck as a symbol of power and protection. Number 6. Wolf skull in a burial mound. Archaeologists found a peculiar burial mound in a small village in southeast Romania. Within the center of the burial mound, a hole was dug where the body of the deceased was cremated within a wooden box, accompanied by various grave goods. After the cremation, wooden planks were placed on top of the hole, sealing the grave. Sadly, it was not immune to ancient grave robbers. At some point in history, thieves infiltrated the burial mound, hoping to plunder the valuable items left with the deceased. Although they were unsuccessful in stealing everything, they left behind a strange object, a wolf skull on a pile of stones. It's believed that this act served as a sort of ritual intended to close off the looted space and prevent the spirit of the deceased from seeking revenge. Well, even if the grave robbers believed that something bad might happen if they stole from the dead, that didn't stop them from committing the crime. Number 5. Scanning a mummy. In a British museum, there was a coffin that was labeled as a mummified hawk from the Ptolemaic period. However, when researchers studied its contents through micro-CT scans, they were shocked to learn that the remains inside didn't belong to a hawk at all. Instead, the mummy was a stillborn male fetus. The mummy was only 9 inches long and was determined to be at 23 to 28 weeks of gestation. He also had a condition called anencephaly, a disorder involving the brain, skull, and spine. Mummifying a fetus would have been a costly endeavor around 2,100 years ago. The fact that the family did it shows that they grieved for the child and honored him after his death. Number 4. Voice of mummified priest. Scientists still don't have the technology to bring mummies back to life, but they do have the next best thing. They can recreate a mummy's voice. Nesyamun was a priest at the Temple of Amun during the reign of Pharaoh Ramesses XI. As a Wab priest, he held a high position that allowed him to approach the sacred inner sanctum of the temple, where he could interact with the statue of Amun. His ritual duties involved singing, requiring him to have a strong and resonant voice to fulfill his religious obligations. To replicate the unique voice of Nesyamun, scientists utilized a 3D printed replica of his vocal tract and paired it with an artificial larynx sound, a technique commonly used in modern speech synthesis systems. This combination created a vowel-like sound, similar to a sheep's bleat, which closely approximates what Nesyamun's voice may have sounded like. The successful recreation of Nesyamun's voice marks a major milestone, but the researchers are not stopping there. Their next goal is to utilize computer models and advanced algorithms to generate full sentences in ancient priest's voice. Number 3. Mass grave of passengers from doomed ship. Even after nearly 400 years, the horrific Batavia shipwreck continues to reveal its haunting secrets. Recent research has uncovered a mass grave containing the remains of 5 individuals, possibly survivors of the ill-fated Dutch merchant vessel that ran aground on a small coral island. In 1629, the Batavia set sail from Holland on a mission to obtain valuable spices from the Dutch East Indies, which is present-day Indonesia. This Dutch ship carried a diverse group of officers, sailors, soldiers, and civilians, totaling 341 souls. Departing as part of a fleet of 7 vessels, the Batavia soon encountered a violent storm, and it eventually lost sight of much of its convoy. Amidst the chaos of the storm, the Batavia ran aground, leading to the loss of approximately 60 lives. Survivors clung to their last hope, Beacon Island. Little did they know that their struggles were far from over. The subsequent months would witness a brutal mutiny, resulting in a death toll of 115, nearly half of the survivors. However, researchers believe that the communal burial site was used prior to the ruthless mutiny. The careful and respectful burial suggests that these individuals met their end in the aftermath of the shipwreck, but before the chaos on the island. Collaborating with researchers in the Netherlands, the team is now unraveling the identities and stories of these individuals before their ill-fated voyage south. Number 2. Warplane in the jungle. The dense jungles of Papua New Guinea hold countless secrets, and among them are the remnants of around 500 to 600 crash sites from World War II. These sites serve as a poignant reminder of the intense conflict that unfolded in the Pacific region. Recently, 15-year-old Willie Flynn braved the jungle to search for an Australian warplane when he received a tip-off from a pig hunter who had inadvertently stumbled upon the wreckage while pursuing his prey. With the assistance of villagers from Baram, Willie and his friends navigated through dense forests, crossed rivers, and traversed steep mountain slopes. Amidst the wild and untamed landscape, the group finally spotted the first piece of twisted metal debris. A propeller fragment, a section of a door, and a Beaufort control column were among the parts that caught their attention. They also came across fragments of bones, remnants of a leather watch, and the pilot's vest. This remarkable discovery solved the mystery of one warplane, but there are hundreds more that have yet to be found. And now it's time for today's topic. Earlier in this video, we talked about the mysterious disappearance of the Malaysia Airlines Flight 370. Well, recently, news has been popping up that scientists may have made a terrifying new discovery that changes everything we know about Malaysian Flight 370. Photos have also emerged online allegedly showing the missing plane in the middle of the Cambodian jungle. People speculate that this could be the last known location of the lost aircraft, or the place where it actually crashed. Do you think the plane crashed somewhere in the jungle? Number 1. Children survive Columbia plane crash. In an amazing turn of events, survivors of a plane crash, 4 young siblings, have been found by the military after surviving 40 days in the Amazon jungle on their own. On May 1st, the children and their mother were traveling from the village of Araraquara to the town of San Jose del Guaviare, where their plane crashed. Soldiers soon found the wreckage site, along with the bodies of 3 adults. Strangely, the children were nowhere to be seen, leading them to hope that they were alive. The rescue efforts gripped the nation as soldiers and indigenous volunteers tirelessly searched the jungle for the missing children. They found signs of life, such as a baby bottle, diapers, and footprints. The children were thankfully discovered in a small forest clearing 3 miles from the site of the plane crash. Aged 13, 9, 4, and 1, the children have now been transported to a hospital in Bogota to recuperate. As members of an indigenous tribe in Colombia, the children survived on cassava flour and knowledge of the jungle's fruits. They were able to fend for themselves for 40 days before they were rescued. The oldest of the children, a 13-year-old girl, said that their mother lived for 3 days before telling them to go elsewhere in the jungle. It's presumed that she passed away shortly after that. It can be really frightening to learn about the things recently happening around us. What do you think about the discoveries we talked about in this video? Let us know in the comments below. Also, check out our other cool stuff showing up on the screen right now, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, everybody.